Hola y'all, I'm Jorshémahn, as you already know, and this is for the life of Jorshémahn. So welcome to what is the second episode, of For the Life of Jorshémahn, coming to you from the stables of Celebration Pictures. Oof. So on the last episode, I mentioned to you that I was going to talk about my relationship for this second episode, and that's basically what's happening or what's going to happen because it hasn't happened yet. Present tense, past participle, whatever the case is. Okay, so let's get to business. Talking about my relationship. Yes, romantic relationships basically. For those of you thinking otherwise or thinking about something else, romantic relationships. Um, okay, my romantic relationship started back from high school. My first girlfriend was Yvonne. Yes, we were together in our final year in high school, the one popularly known as history year. Yes, we're in our final year, and she and I got things running, started from likeness and all that. So like we've not been seeing each other, we've not been schoolmates. Actually, we've been schoolmates right from junior secondary down to senior high school. So we've been schoolmates and we've understood ourselves or we've interacted or intimated ourselves one way or the other, maybe by classes or lectures or whatever. And then we get to what's the word now? Then we start things off, and yes, she was my first girlfriend, Yvonne, and we did it for a while, and boom, that was how it happened. We did it, and the rest they say is history. She's my first love. Our relationship only lasted for a couple of months. Yeah, I think about 6, 7 months, and after that, it we just kind of fell apart. Why? Because we started relationship in our, like I mentioned earlier, senior year, final year in high school. So after high school, everybody just drifted apart. After high school, the closeness, the proximity that was present during high school was no longer present. So everybody drifted. Okay. Um. So that was it. That was how it ended. That's the details. So Yvonne was my first ever, my first girlfriend, my first love, first whatever you want to call it. And then I moved on from there to I said,
Checking for any standing. I'm in Okwambi. You wind me. No, you got all I need. Tell me what you want from me. She not the money. I got the money. No waste time. Come and get behind me. Want some oxygen inside me. So let go, baby. On me again. On me again. Oh.
okay, the life of Joshman. Joshman here. Talking about my battle with depression in this episode. Um, Back in 2011, I was diagnosed, or let's say I actually had to go to the hospital to do some medical checkup. Okay, so after going through those medicals, some of the results came back that I had, or diagnosed to have clinical depression. At first, I didn't pay it any interest. I didn't see it as anything. I treated it with kid's glove. But it turns out that it wasn't as joking, or it wasn't a joke as I thought. Because years down the line, I began to see the effects or suffer this depression. Though at the time I was diagnosed with clinical depression, I wasn't given anything or advised anything. I was just told to maybe like stay happy, kind of. Not really. I paid attention to other things and less to depression. But where's down the line, after college, after service year, looking for a job and all that, and it's not coming, you're not pulling your weight as you want to, I began to feel like pressure. Will I call it self-imposed pressure on myself? I began to put a pressure on myself. I began to put pressure on myself, which wasn't needed, but it happened. So that was how, and because I wasn't paying attention to it, you know how we say depression is not an African thing. Men don't get depressed, blacks don't get depressed. Depression is make believe. Depression is a white thing. I began to carry those notion in my head, and started to, you know, follow the trend, so to say, or so to speak. And I did follow the trend and what have you, but I not myself. I'm not being happy. I feel like where am meant to be, where I should be pulling my weight, I should be doing this. This is the level I should have achieved by this stage in my life. I wasn't achieving it. And then the pressure began to get to me. And before I knew it, I couldn't bottle it up anymore. I couldn't be that macho. I couldn't be that Captain America, if I can call it so, anymore. I had to give in, or I gave in. And then with it started coming negative thoughts, different kind of thoughts, and the will to live. I began to lose it little by little. As every day came, as every day appeared, as every day dawned, I began to lose the will to live. And from there, it deviated to me having suicidal thoughts. I started to think, oh, after all, I'm no better off than a dead person. Someone who is dead does not have to think about these things, does not have to think about achievements and what he has made in life and stuff like that. That's what I began to think. That's how I began to think. That was my mindset. And then sometimes I might be in the kitchen fixing a meal, and then maybe I want to chop something with a knife. I just look at the knife, look at it severally, like trying to, like I've never seen a knife before, trying to admire the knife. Look at the knife, I look at the knife, and terrible, terrible sins. I kept admiring the knife for every time I was in the kitchen fixing a meal and using it to chop something. I kept admiring the knife. And all of a sudden, I made use of that knife to cut myself severally. I don't know. This is one of the scars here. One of the scars. I don't know if you can see it clearly, but this is one of the scars. I cut myself severally, hoping that maybe if I just end it, I wouldn't have to be bothered by the pressures of not achieving things I'm supposed to have achieved, or not being where I'm supposed to have been, not being able to pull my weight. So I thought I should just end it. But I was told this in the solution. And one of the problem is I kept it to myself. I didn't speak up. I didn't tell anybody about it. That's one of the mistakes those of us with depression make. We need to learn how to speak up. We need to learn to tell people about it. I know some people would say, if I speak to people about my depression, they will say, it's because I have too much time on my hand. That's why I'm depressed. They will make jest of my depression. Yes, people have made jest of my depression. I've had people say to me, oh, the guy with the depression, go and die, go and kill yourself. So things like they could trigger the person to go do such when you know the person is very vulnerable. Things like that have been said to me, and those kind of things have tortured, have injured, have scarred me. Especially when it has been said from people I owed to be my own. People I say, this is family. People I reckon with when they say to me, go and kill yourself, go and die, I don't care, this and that. These are terms, these are words, these are semantics. These are utterances that someone with depression shouldn't hear. It shouldn't be said to them because they are very vulnerable. Another thing is, don't be mistaken. Someone like me, I'm very jovial, I'm very playful, I'm ready to make you laugh, I'm very naughty. You might can testify to that. She calls me the naughty one, and it's a compliment for me. But you don't know what I'm you don't know what's going on inside me, you don't know what I'm going through, you don't know how I'm feeling, you don't know the state of my mind. I can make you laugh. That's why sometimes I always say that I sometimes feel like a Robin Williams. If you remember the Robin Williams, God rest his soul, he was making people laugh in the end. Robin wasn't happy and he had to take his life. So has there been several cases of such happenings. So has there been several cases of such happenings in Nigeria. You hear people who jump off the third mainland bridge, you hear people who write suicide notes, you hear people who drink poor water view, things that should not be ingested into the human system, and phew, they are gone. And one of the things you always hear after they are gone is their family, their friends did not notice this and they could not trace it. So one thing is, please speak up. Talk to people. Whether they if they make jest or they don't, if they understand or not, just speak up, just talk to people. And I'm sure that if you speak to a group of at least 5 people, one person will be able to identify with you. At least one person will understand what you are going through. So please, if you suffer depression, speak up. Let people know what is going on in that head and mind of yours. Don't keep it to yourself. Don't expect them to guess. Don't expect them to assume or presume that they know what you are going through. Please. That's very wrong. Depression can affect anybody. Anybody can get depressed or whatsoever. So do not say depression is not a man thing. Africans don't get depressed. Depression is make believe. It's real. Mental health issues is real. Let me go back to my story as I started. So in 2019, around May, around April, May, this thought of this pressure of I have not made it, I'm not pulling my weight, I have not gotten to that place I want to be started again. And as it started, suicidal thoughts came in. You know, I want to say a very big thank you at this point to Ayomite's boyfriend. I wanted to say Ayomite's boyfriend. Yes, Vincent Springer, a very, very good friend, I must confess. He was the one who helped me through it. He was the one who kept convincing me. He was the one who kept encouraging me, admonishing me. He helped me every way possible. That's what I'm saying. Speak up. He could help me. He could understand me. He could be part of it because I spoke up for myself. I let him know how I was feeling. I let him know my state of mind. I let him know that my mental health was dwindling. It's very important that you speak up. Depression is dark days, and it's a dark day you don't want to be. It's a dark day you don't want to be associated with. It's a dark place you don't want to go. So please speak up. Never listen to those who tell you it's make believe or you have too much time on your hands. That is why you are depressed. Depression is real. Mental health issues, very, very real. It's a dark day. It's a dark place. Very real. I'm quite emotional because it's something I can relate. I can relate to. Okay. So he helped me. In fact, towards a point that my parents got involved and I did not see it coming because I did not know that he would go behind me to even get my parents involved. Yes, I've been having talks with my parents and it just seemed like there was no synergy. They were not understanding. They couldn't comprehend what I was going through. But with Vince, he understood, he could comprehend, and it was helpful. So once again, I'm very thankful to Springer. So depression is real. Speak up about it. No matter how cheerful someone is, no matter how jovial someone is, I've said it about myself. I joke a lot. I'm very jovial, very playful, very naughty. In a comic or humorous way. But yet, deep down inside, I wasn't happy. But someone will look at the surface and say, but he's always joking, he's always jovial. What's... I didn't understand. I didn't see this coming. I didn't believe this is happening. But yes, it is happening. So, if you suffer depression, please speak up or contact authorities that you can speak to. Depression is real. It's a dark day and a dark place. So, I have spoken my mind and I've said all I have to say concerning this case. I suffer depression, but I speak up. I speak to people. I let people know how I'm feeling. I don't allow myself get to that dark place or that dark place I got to in 2019. And 2019 I was able to survive because I spoke up. So please, don't suffer in silence. Speak up if you suffer depression.